Have you ever wondered how a Mexican street food dish became a national icon in the US, to the point where there's an entire day of the week called Taco Tuesday? Sounds catchy, right? But behind every bite of taco is a nearly 100-year-long historical journey. Yes, really. A simple tortilla with meat, a few veggies, and spicy sauce represents a cultural crossover and serves as a vivid example of how cuisine can cross borders and prejudices to become part of everyday life. It's one of those weird food facts that show how a dish can reshape national identity. If you're a taco fan, drop a comment. Taco is life. And if you're still unsure why people go crazy over tacos, comment, I don't quite get the hype yet. I'm genuinely curious to see where our community stands on this. Now, let's take a step back in time, to the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Back then, the U.S. to Mexico border wasn't as sharply defined as it is today. Mexicans frequently crossed between the two territories for work, particularly in the railroad and mining industries in the American Southwest. And of course, they didn't come empty-handed. They brought with them their culture, language, and their hometown cuisine. Among the dishes was something simple but powerful, the taco. Back then, tacos weren't the photogenic, Instagram-worthy items we know today. They were soft corn tortillas folded with grilled meat, fresh herbs, and sometimes a bit of salsa. And true to their street food nature, tacos were sold by Mexican women in local American markets, often referred to as the chili queens. Another weird food fact, these chili queens were some of the earliest influencers in Mexican-American culinary history. Have you ever tried a street taco? How was it different from one in a restaurant? If you have a cool food story, share it in the comments. I love hearing real-life culinary tales. Quick rehoop, if you thought tacos were invented by a US fast food chain, get ready. The next part will take you through a history of food and immigration politics. In the 1910s, 1920s, as more Mexicans migrated to the U.S., especially after the Mexican Revolution, tacos became deeply embedded in Mexican-American communities, also known as Chicano communities. Though initially viewed by white Americans as foreign or even unsanitary, flavor knows no racism, right? Interestingly, in the 1950s, 1960s, as pop culture became more open, Americans began to explore these exotic dishes from immigrant communities. And so the taco began to transform. It became Americanized, from soft corn tortillas to crispy shells, from grilled meat to ground beef with sauce, topped with cheese, lettuce, and tomatoes, and boom! The American-style taco was born. Easy to eat, easy to sell, and easy to mass-produce. Who led the charge in turning tacos into fast food? That's right, Glenn Bell, founder of Taco Bell. Instead of selling burgers like everyone else, he went with something more unusual, tacos. But not traditional Mexican tacos, rather a version tailored for mass appeal. And you know what? That's when tacos truly entered American dining tables, from family restaurants, to school cafeterias, birthday parties, and of course, all over social media on Taco Tuesday. So let me ask, do you prefer Americanized tacos or traditional Mexican ones? Comment, Team Crunchy Taco or Team Soft Taco? After Taco Bell put the Americanized taco on the national fast food map, things took off. Tacos were no longer confined to Mexican-American communities, they began to appear in TV ads, films, and youth-targeted marketing campaigns. But here's the fascinating part. While Americans were discovering tacos as something exotic, for Mexicans, tacos have always been a symbol of connection, simplicity, and no need to overcomplicate. In border cities like El Paso, San Diego, and Tucson, you can see a parallel food universe. On one side, the American taco, loaded with cheese, ranch sauce, and ground beef. On the other, the original taco, just carnitas, onions, cilantro, and a squeeze of lime. Nothing extra, just authentic flavor. Have you ever tried tacos at a local street market while traveling? Share your impressions, especially if you've tasted tacos in Mexico itself. From the 1980s onwards, cultural diversity in the US grew rapidly. Second and third generation Mexican Americans were raised in both worlds, soft tacos at home with mom, fast food tacos outside with friends. From this duality, a new trend emerged, the fusion taco. Ever heard of Korean barbecue taco? Or Vietnamese-style taco with fish sauce? These are more than just fun combos, they're weird food facts made real, born from kitchens where cultures meet. One standout example is Roy Choi, a Korean-American chef who pioneered the Korean taco, combining bulgogi beef, kimchi, and tortilla shells. This dish not only made waves among foodies but also elevated the taco to a new level, a symbol of cultural creativity. What do you think about fusion tacos? An insult to tradition or a welcome innovation? Comment, I love the mix or I prefer the original spirit. Because of this, tacos are no longer boxed into the cheap fast food stereotype. High-end restaurants now serve tacos with wagyu beef, lobster, caviar. Sounds a bit fancy, right? But it proves one thing, tacos have evolved while staying true to their soul, flexibility and approachability. And here's another weird food fact, some Michelin-starred restaurants now feature tacos on their menus. Today, on every Taco Tuesday, millions of Americans, regardless of race or background, line up for a dish once dismissed as foreign. And here's the sweetest thing, many American families don't just eat tacos, they make them together as a bonding ritual. Each person chooses their own toppings, assembles their own taco, and that's the democratic spirit of the dish. Tacos don't impose, they invite. And that's how they've won over an entire culture, embraced in their own way. Do you have a special memory tied to tacos? A night with friends, a cozy family dinner? Share it, sometimes small stories like these are what keep cultures alive. One thing I've realized after all these years of eating tacos in every kind of place, from street food trucks in Austin to moody-lit restaurants in Brooklyn, is that tacos aren't just food. They're a piece of memory, a way to connect, a wordless conversation. Imagine this, a soft tortilla wrapping around grilled meat, with a touch of onions, cilantro, and lime. When you bite into it, you don't just taste flavor, you taste hundreds of years of history, stories of immigrants, the blend of heritage and reinvention. And that's what I love most about tacos, they don't care who you are. You can be of Mexican descent, white, black, Asian, immigrant, or native-born, everyone can eat tacos, love tacos, and create their own way of enjoying them. Have you ever had a dish that tied into your personal memories, like Vietnamese banh mi, Italian pizza, or Japanese ramen? Leave a comment, my favorite food, full of memories. In the US, there's something special, food isn't just tasted with your mouth, it's felt through culture and identity. Tacos were once viewed as cheap, unworthy street food. But today, they are celebrated, not for being luxurious, but for embodying what America aspires to, inclusion, diversity, and reinvention without losing roots. You might laugh, but I once saw a taco stand inside an old church, where people made tacos while playing live music. People of all ages, all races, sat together, passed around sauce bottles, and shared stories. Tacos don't divide, tacos connect. That alone might be the most beautiful weird food fact of them all. Have you ever shared a memorable meal with a stranger? Tell your story, because sometimes, one taco can spark an entire meaningful conversation. So next time you bite into a taco, whether it's from a fancy restaurant or a humble food truck, remember, you're tasting a piece of history. A meal that takes only a few minutes to eat, but took over 100 years to travel from Mexico to the heart of America. If you love stories like this, where history, food, and people intertwine, don't forget to follow this podcast. I've got so many more small but wild tales to share with you. Thanks for listening all the way to the end. I truly appreciate each and every one of you in this community, not just eating to fill your stomachs, but to understand, to feel, and to connect. And if you agree that one small taco contains an entire journey, drop a comment so I know you feel the same. See you in the next episode. And remember, never underestimate the power of humble food. Because sometimes, what seems the most ordinary, is what stays in our hearts forever.